started. We have all the tech recording, broadcasting set up and good to go. All right. All right. Welcome everybody to this meeting here at 9 a.m. in the Provo City Chambers here, January 22nd, 2026, our first meeting here of the Utah Lake Authority. I will be conducting. Mayor Carolyn Lundberg from Linden City. I've been serving as the vice chair the past cycle. So we'd like to welcome everybody here this morning here on the board. And we always begin first with an introduction. And since we have some new and other more seasoned board members here, we'd like to maybe have a moment this morning. I'll go ahead and run the call of attendance, call to order, and then I'd love for everyone to just give a quick brief introduction as we get to know each other. So I'll just start here on my right.
Good morning, everyone. Scott Daly, Division of Water Quality, sitting in for Candace Ossinger.
It's the button's right here on the stem.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Daly with the Division of Water Quality. I'm sitting in for Candace Ossinger.
Good morning. I'm Hillary Hungerford, professor at UVU and governor's appointee.
That's loud. I'm Kyle Fryant. I am here for Mayor Marcia Judkins. I'm her deputy mayor here in Provo.
Oh, it didn't turn on.
Sorry, guys, I'm a little late. Zach Stratton. I am the mayor of Vineyard City.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome. Carolyn Lundberg, mayor of Linden City.
I'm Curtis Blair. I lead the Chamber of Commerce in Utah Valley.
I'm Lene Millett with the Orem City Council, and I'm sitting in for Karen McCandless, our mayor.
Skylar Beltran, Utah County Commissioner.
All right. Any board members online? I see a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Sorry.
This is
Cameron.
Cameron.
Go ahead. We can hear you now.
Sorry. Thank you. Good morning. This is Cameron Dalton, representing Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity.
All right. Anyone else? Okay.
Neil Brown, Mayor of Genoa.
All right. Is that everyone that's online? Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for being here this morning and helping us have a quorum. We have some items of business today to get started for the year. So first of all, there are agendas at the entrance of the room there that you can follow along if you'd like to. Item number 2 is a bit of housekeeping. So we have reports or disclosures, and in regards to the disclosures, speaking with staff, there will be a disclosure form created that you may fill out rather than having a verbal time here at the mic on that. So you can have a moment. So they'll put that together and provide that to all of us. Are there any other members' reports or announcements here today? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 3. This is our public comment period. And if there's anything that the public would like to express or address here to this body, please do so. And we ask that you keep it to about 2 minutes.
Oh, great. Awesome. I'm Kay Nelson. I'm Executive Director of Conserve Utah Valley, and I'm a resident here in Provo. I just have a statement from our group. As Utah Valley residents, our CUV team understands how tough our traffic issues have become. We want to be helpful in the pursuit of solutions that also protect Utah Lake. As we've consulted with transportation and lake experts, it's clear that a bridge will not alleviate congestion, but instead add to it. And putting cars over the lake will also negatively impact water quality, recreation, wildlife habitat, and our iconic lakescape views. Water quality is a main concern. Dr. Rachel Atkins, a hydrologist at UVU, shared that a bridge will increase inputs and pollutants such as salts and sand from snow removal. BYU professor Dr. Gregory McFarland, a transportation engineer and specialist, recommends that city and state leaders consider what causes traffic and make plans to reduce car use, such as bring businesses and amenities to the community, develop infill and high-density housing with existing employers and services, provide commute options such as public transportation, active transportation, and remote work. Bridges are incredibly expensive. Those same funds can be put toward efforts that take cars off the roads and reduce driving needs. These solutions also address many other connected issues, such as protecting our air quality and addressing housing needs. Our team is happy to talk with others on this issue as we explore bridge-free options for Utah Lake and Utah Valley. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Any other public comment at this time? Have there been any submitted prior to today's meeting? All right, very good. Thank you so much. All right, that moves us to item number 4, and this is our guest presentations. And we have Ben Starman here with a message from our Forestry, Fire, and State Lands. Thank you.
There we go. Should I go up to the stand or present here?
I think you're fine where you are.
Okay.
Wherever you're comfortable.
All right, perfect. I'll just do it from right here. This is a really comfortable chair.
Mhm.
So, do you all have my presentation? Okay. While they're pulling that up, I'll just go ahead and kind of get started. So, my name is Ben Starman. I'm the Deputy Director at the Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands. And we conducted a study regarding Utah Lake and how to enhance the overall conditions of Utah Lake as directed by SB 270 in the legislative session. The overall goal of the study is, again, how to enhance the lake. They set forth several objectives that we looked at in that study. So I'll give it just one more second so I don't have to skip too many slides.
Yeah, it's not sharing to our screens as of yet. So just quick little technical moment.
It's all right. I needed another minute to prepare. So all right.
Here we go.
So we can skip this slide. So here's a copy of the bill. You can see A through J that provide those directives. And go to the next slide, please. All right. So I want to start with a little bit of background on Utah Lake to set the stage. Starting with European settlement in 1845, we also had the first use of Utah Lake as a storage reservoir, the introduction of carp, urbanization of the area, introduction of invasive species such as Phragmites, and fast forward to today where we have about 7.5 million carp in Utah Lake. So we can start to understand some of the issues that are facing the lake. Historically, the lake had clear water, abundant and healthy fisheries, or the fishery was abundant and healthy, and a healthy submerged vegetation population. Can you go to the next slide, please? So the problem is complex, but it can be addressed. Throughout the study, we addressed the 4 main stressors facing the lake that we believe will help to solve or at least improve, enhance the conditions that were outlined in SB 270. Those 4 main stressors include carp, unstable sediments and sediment resuspension, excess nutrients, and unnatural water level fluctuations. The lake averages about 3.5 feet of fluctuation each year, but in big years, it can fluctuate up to 7 feet. At this point, passive recovery is no longer possible, meaning that intervention is going to be necessary, and there isn't one single solution. We have to look at the whole picture and address several of the issues simultaneously. Next slide, please. So right here, you can see a dramatic picture that exemplifies the current conditions and what the desired future enhanced condition would look like. We would like to see clearer, cleaner water, reduced invasive species, a restored aquatic vegetation, thriving native fish and vegetation, expanded recreation and access, which would lead to just a more valuable resource for the state of Utah and the communities surrounding Utah Lake. Next slide, please. So how do we get there? Through the study, what we addressed is that we need to do this in phases. We would look at a phased approach, being that we would start small and work towards a larger overall lake-wide solution. Phase 1, we would look at through 2026 through 2030. It would start with pilot projects to make sure we don't make expensive mistakes at a lake-wide level and establish foundational actions. Phase 2 would be from 2030 to 2035, where we would scale up on these proven strategies and implement lake-wide. I think it's really important to note that this isn't a study that will result in another study. The study is going to result in actionable items. So what we would like to see is that instead of studying this thing to death, which I think we're famous of doing in the state, we take what we know right now and we go implement that. And we course correct along the way, but we don't want to do that on the whole lake, and I'll explain why in a moment. So implementation of this the lake study would include invasive carp control, habitat and sediment management, nutrient management, and enhancement of the human uses around the lake. Next slide, please. So again, the phased approach, I want to explain that a little bit more. We would start small. The first pilot project would be about 100 acres. And we would phase towards the whole lake. This would allow for adjustments along the way, and it would also allow for those adjustments to respond, and then also for us to identify unintended consequences. I want to maybe just highlight what I mean by unintended consequences and why this is so important, that we're not starting on the whole lake and we kind of work towards that. One example would be that if we were able to eradicate carp, it's likely we would have much clearer water, which if we didn't deal with the nutrients, we would likely have much more frequent algal blooms. Also, if we were to clean the water and didn't provide a place for fish to hide and habitat for the fish, there could be increased predation on the June sucker, which we've spent a lot of money in the state to recover. And we would hate to see that go back into a threatened or into an endangered status. So these are things that we want to think through and be really diligent and develop that through this phased implementation. The phased implementation would also allow us to refine those costs and understand what the total cost of enhancing the whole lake would be. It's, obviously there's a economy of scale. So, this will get much cheaper when we're doing more acres, but we'll be able to understand exactly what that would look like. Next slide, please. Okay, so I want to also give a shout out for all of the support we received on the study. We were directed to do this in a really short amount of time. So I want to give a shout out to our contractor, Jacobs Engineering. Dave is there in the audience. If you can, thanks, Dave. They did a tremendous job with outreach and really kind of wrangling this again in a very short amount of time. We also developed a steering committee, which was comprised of directors from the various agencies. Luke was on the steering committee. We had folks from the Department of Ag, Department of Environmental Quality, several divisions from the Department of Natural Resources that helped to kind of steer the direction of this to make sure that this was all feasible and sound. We also had a planning team comprised of the subject matter experts that helped to provide and digest all of the science. And again, Jacobs had a whole team that they hired of professionals. We had a gentleman who came and I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but he came and presented at the Utah Lake Symposium regarding carp, and he's kind of renowned carp expert in the whole world. So we had some of the best minds at this to try to understand what success might look like. And in addition to that, we also did a robust stakeholder outreach. So our contractor met with all of the different stakeholders who have some type of ability to inform us, or also that have some ability to influence how these management actions are taken or seen through. So this included cities, counties, water users, the state engineer, those who, again, have influence over Utah Lake or may be affected by, whether it goes well or doesn't go well. So we're really proud of the outreach that happened. Next slide, please. So the next steps for the study are, again, we're focused, we're aligned, we're ready to act. A lot of the things that have been identified, we've already started. I think you all have heard about the success with Phragmites. There's been a 90% reduction in the overall Phragmites around Utah Lake, approximately, I should say. This is largely due to, again, refining how we do this. This didn't come overnight. There was a lot of years where, these treatments were redundant. They were going around the lake like a clock rather than treating the whole lake. And it took a few years to get to the point where we really started to see that success. So again, that's why we want to start with a pilot and not make expensive or, again, mistakes along those ways. So we do have some funding to implement at the level we have been doing. And I know our partners that have funding as well are going to continue to do that. But we would need dedicated funding and dedicated staff to implement these programs. It was discussed with the Water Development Commission that it would take approximately $6 to $11 million to implement phase 1. 11 would be ideal to make sure we're doing everything we can there. And then again, that would help refine those costs for the long term. So I actually can go to the next slide, please. So I just, in closing, I just want to say this is our moment to lead. I think there's a lot of issues facing the nation's lakes right now, especially in the West with drought. I think we have a strong partnership and framework for collaboration here at Utah Lake. So we just need to act, and I think we're ready to do so. And I think that's it.
Thank you very much.
Certainly. And I'm happy to answer questions if anybody on the board has any.
Very good. Any questions on Ben's presentation?
Yeah, Ben, is there any funding request this session?
We did not put in a funding request, given the cycle in which we would have had to have done that. It would have been over a year ago before the study really started. But Senator Stratton now, who is the one who ran the bill when he was a representative, along with Senator Bramble, did seem interested in potential RFA to do some funding. So, anybody who's interested in working with Senator Stratton, I think that would be a good opportunity to see if we can get some funding towards this.
Thank you.
All right, very good. And certainly we can all reach out.
Absolutely. I'm
offline
happy to
as well.
chat.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, item number 5, this is the approval of our November board meeting minutes. Those were received in the January 15th email from staff. If anyone has any changes or adjustments to those minutes? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November.
All right, thank you very much.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion by Board Member Blair, seconded by Board Member Millett. All in favor? Okay,
Aye.
any opposed?
Aye. That was an aye to the support.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, now we'll move on to item number 6. We have some various staff and committee reports. We will first begin with our executive director, Luke Peterson, and just of special note, we do not have our deputy director, Sam Breaker, here, had a family emergency, so we will continue his report to our next meeting.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Good to be with you this morning. Happy New Year, everybody. We've got some exciting news that I'm happy to report on. As you all know, in government, things just hold still forever, and then they break loose like an avalanche and everything happens at once. So okay. So if you can go to the first slide.
It feels like we need to have some like jokes ready to go in between the lag time on technical issues.
You guys work on that. I'm going to keep going verbally. Okay. All right. So what you will eventually see is we heard this week that the federal appropriations that we've now been working on for almost 2 years are finally moving forward. So the House will be voting on the, they call it a minibus instead of an omnibus, the minibus bill, appropriations bill, that most of our appropriations are in. So we're excited about that. That's today that vote will happen. There's no reason to expect it to not pass, but if you're superstitious, do what you need to do here. But that covers two of the main pieces here: the recreation access funding and also the nature center funding. Now, the nature center funding is a little interesting. I just wanted to give you guys an update on what happened there. We originally had Representative Curtis, who put in the appropriation for us. Then the budget didn't happen last year. And then his seat got taken by Representative Kennedy. Curtis moved to the Senate. And so that request moved over to Kennedy's office, but UVU also pursued it with Curtis's Senate office. At the end, you may recall that I said that we had $4 million that would come to ULA from Kennedy's office, and then there was another $2.5 million from Senator Curtis's office, but we weren't sure if we would be able to get both. The answer is we don't get both. So the $4 million is the total that's coming through for the Nature Center, and that will come to ULA. We've been talking with our partners, Steve Anderson over at UVU, in terms of how to approach this. It had been the plan because of the state of the state budget to not pursue funding on that, but this has changed things a little bit, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Next slide. Okay, so in February, in a few weeks, I'll be headed out to DC because the process continues, right? So we're going to be working with our congressional delegation. We have a few asks that we're working on. The one that I wanted to tell you about, which is an idea that came from Addie, so it's good, is this idea of doing similar work to what we've done on the Provo River Delta with the Spanish Fork River Delta. So there's a lot of improvement work that can be done there to improve the ecology. I've spoken with Ben a little bit about this. It's an idea that would take time and funding, and we've had a very good funding cycle, so I'm not expecting us to get money next year, but we need to start the conversation in order to get it in the next few years. So one of the items we'll be talking about with the congressional delegation is funding to do a similar, not same scale, but similar project, restoration project with the Spanish Fork River Delta. Next slide. And then as far as the legislative session goes, we will be focusing on the Nature Center. So we've decided now that we have this $4 million in federal money, we're going to at least go and pursue a match. So we're going to be pursuing an RFA for $4 million to match the $4 million in federal money. Hopefully, $8 million should be enough for us to get a good amount of work done and get started with the project. So if it ever comes up in conversation with legislators, that's what we're working on. That's what we're focused on. Once again, this year, the Nature Center. And I'm hopeful. It's a rough budget year, so we'll see what happens. But I think it's very helpful that we had that funding that came in, and it came in with the backing of both Senator Curtis and Representative Kennedy. Those are my items. Any questions?
Yeah, Luke, on the 4 million federal funds, any time, or we're able to hold it as long as we need?
So with the federal appropriation, you get 3 years to spend it.
Okay.
So we've got some time, and I think we'll be fine. We'll definitely be able to spend it in that time frame. Yeah. Other questions?
Who is the named recipient for the state appropriation that you'll be seeking the match?
That. I think it would go through DNR, I assume, because all our money goes through Ben. He's my bank. Yeah. Any other questions?
Is it helpful if we have a letter of support for you with everybody's signature on it?
I've been, this was funny because we had kind of talked about, all right, we're not going to pursue it this year because we were still waiting for Congress to act. And then they decided to act in the first week of our legislative session. So I've been trying to connect with Senator Brammer and Representative Precious to kind of go, all right, what's our strategy here? Haven't really had a full conversation yet. When I do, I will let you know if that or something else is needed. But thank you for asking.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. All right, we will move on. Like I mentioned, we will continue the report by our Sam Breaker and move on to our events and communications. Director Kelly Cannon O'Day.
Hi. So wonderful to see you all. Oh, duh. Okay, so just a little preview for next meeting. We will have a little introduction for everyone on our staff for all of you who are new. So we'll just pause and wait for that. I wanted to start this new year by talking about 2025 in review real quickly. As some of you may recall, I was hired in March. And so when I was approaching 2025 events, it was very much, we're just going to do kind of business as usual. We're going to do the same events, but change things as my expertise kind of leads us to, but just really see what we're doing and then where we can improve, what we can add, what we can take away. So these are the big events that we did in this past year. The Great Carp Hunt actually started before I was hired. It was, in my opinion, a huge success. We closed it out in November. There's the winning team right there who won the $10,000 and their families. We were able to remove almost about 5,000 carp over the course of the several months. And it was a big success. It had a lot of people talking about carp, and it was really, really fun event to have families out there removing carp together. Field Trip Days is twice a year event. We do it in the spring and in the fall. Each time we had about 1,000 students. And so over the course of the year, we had 2,000 students come out to the lake and learn about water conservation and animals and the water cycle and mosquito abatement. And it's one of our most popular events when it comes to demand versus how much we can actually provide. And so we're really excited about continuing that. Utah Lake Festival was way bigger than I expected it to be. We expected about 5,000 people. We think we got about 6,000. And we partnered with the Provo Farmers Market, and that's kind of one of the big reasons we got so many people. It was awesome. It was lovely. I learned so much. And finally, the Utah Lake Symposium. I've never done a symposium before, and so this was a huge, huge learning opportunity for me. But I think it was really successful. And this upcoming year, we're actually already in conversation to host it at Rocky Mountain University. They are very interested in hosting us. And so we're in talks with them. And I'm very excited that we're in talks with them this early, because then once I get it booked, I don't have to worry about it. So next slide.
And not on Halloween this year.
Not on Halloween. And we're trying to do it on Thursday, Friday now, because I guess Monday, Tuesday was, we heard all your feedback. We took it in. Yeah. Like I said, learning experience. When it comes to the communication sides of things, last March, we launched our Utah Lake is My Lake campaign. Excuse me, it was in April. This was our push with our Harmon Brothers videos to really get people to change their minds about Utah Lake, kind of change the perspective of Utah Lake, and to get them more excited about recreating on Utah Lake. It was a lot of fun. And a lot of what we did went back to the Utah Lake is My Lake campaign. We had 34 news articles written about the lake over the course of the year. And in everything that we did, our whole goal was every interaction we had with people, which is kind of the whole point of events and communications, is to change that narrative and dispel misinformation about Utah Lake, get more people excited about Utah Lake, get more people to go to Utah Lake. So that's kind of 2025 in review. Can you do the next slide, please? Okay, so these are the upcoming events. The first one is a new event that we're doing. It's an event, it's more like a digital campaign. Heather is actually the one who is doing this campaign. She came up with this idea. I think it is awesome. So February, Valentine's Day, we're doing a I Love Utah Lake campaign, which is not only to get people to share photos of them on Instagram of them recreating at Utah Lake, but we're also pushing if you love Utah Lake, why don't you volunteer at Utah Lake? Why don't you help us out? Sign up for our volunteer program. And then we are also launching what we're calling the ambassador program. Heather will talk more about that in the March meeting. The whole idea about it is we have this small select group of people who are committing to at least 25 hours of community service at Utah Lake over the course of the year. They also receive specialized training from us to educate them on all things Utah Lake. That way they can be advocates in the community. They can also help us with tabling and events and volunteering. And they just, it's kind of like an elite program of volunteers who are ambassadors for the lake. We're really excited about this program. I'm really excited about the ideas that Heather has. I can't wait for her to share how it goes. I'm very excited about this. Carp hunt we're doing again this year. It starts April 11th. We are vastly changing how we do it because one thing that we want to do is we want to spend less money while taking out more fish. And so one of the ways we're doing that is we are actually, instead of having it go from February to November, we're actually having it just April to end of June. So we're having 6 events. It's every other week because that's spawning season. And so those were the months that we got the most fish out of the lake. For instance, one bow hunting team caught like 800 in a weekend. And so we're thinking by like kind of cramming it into that time frame, we'll remove more fish. We are also changing the way that we are doling out prizes. Instead of it being a raffle for $1,000, we are actually offering kind of like a bounty program. And so every person, for every fish you bring out, you get $1.50, and then we contribute $1.50 to a prize pot, kind of. And then whoever catches the most gets the prize pot. We've divided it between shore fishermen and bow fishermen because bow fishermen tend to catch a lot more fish. And so I've done the math on it. It's like a lot of math. If you want to see really great fish spreadsheets, let me know. But we'll be spending the same amount of money. What we're excited about is the fact that it'll probably draw more people because if you catch one fish, like a couple fish, you get a couple bucks, like it's guaranteed prize money. So we're really excited about that. The dates we're excited about. Field trip days, again, we'll have students come out. Those applications will open sometime in February. Paddle with Care is our water safety event. Utah Lake Festival, that May 30th, put that in your calendar. That is the locked in date. We have OKs from the state park and from Provo Farmers Market. The biggest difference we're doing with the Lake Festival is we are trying to figure out parking. Parking is really the only reason why we can't grow. There's no reason why this festival can't be an 8,000 to 10,000 people event. And the main reason we can't right now is parking. There's not enough parking. So we are working no one's kind of said yes yet, but we're either going to direct people to park either at Provo High because school will be out, or the nearby like private airport. Steve Wolf, the park manager, his relationship there, and then shuttle people. That's kind of the idea. And so parking is really the only thing stopping us from growing. And so if we can figure that out, we're going to be solid. And then finally, the new big event this year in September will be the 250th anniversary, not only of our country, but also when Dominguez and Escalante first saw Utah Lake. For those of you who didn't grow up in Utah, Dominguez and Escalante were 2 Spanish friars exploring the area to try to find a route between Mexico and California. They explored a lot of Utah, and in their journals, they wrote about seeing Utah Lake and encountering the indigenous people who live here. And so we want to do a 5K to kind of commemorate that. That'll be in September. And so I'm really excited about that. Again, never done a 5K before. This will be great. So I'm excited about that. And then next slide. Okay. And then this year's communication campaign. So last year was Utah Lake is my lake. This year, we are really focusing on changing the perspective and narrative around harmful algal blooms. So right now, the way Utahns approach, and especially Utah County folks approach harmful algal blooms, is it's very crisis driven. It's, oh my God, there are harmful algal blooms in the lake and we're all going to die. And it's just, no, that's not the thing. It's something that happens every single year. We know it's going to happen. It's happened as long as humans have been here. It's going to continue happening, maybe not as intensely, but it can't be a crisis if it happens every year, if you know it's going to happen, in my opinion. So we are trying to change the narrative of less of, oh my gosh, emergency, to a know before you go attitude. It's the same with skiers. They check avalanche conditions. When you go hiking in the Narrows, you make sure there's no flash flood warnings. It's that idea of, hey, let's educate people on when they happen, what they look like, how to avoid them, and really emphasize that for me, I think one of the more important things is, yes, you can get sick, but it's actually really toxic for dogs. And so I have a dog who never said no to a body of water in her life. And so really educating people like, yeah, you can get sick, but this is actually really harmful for your dog. So let's keep them out of the water. Just trying to shift that narrative from emergency crisis to like, let's empower the public to know what is actually true. So that's all I have about what we're doing. So any questions about anything? That was a lot, I know.
Kelly, just maybe a suggestion or an idea, but I think one important aspect of the harmful algal blooms is how people can recreate when the blooms are happening, because I think there are activities people can still do. And one thought I was having as you were explaining that is like, have you ever seen, there's a graphic that I want to say it might be the Division of Recreation makes, but it's what safe ice looks like.
Oh.
And they're like, this, ice, you can walk out there, and at this ice, you can have a snowmobile. And I'm wondering if maybe we could have something where, you talk about what can happen. And so people can still use Utah Lake and be out there, but maybe not
I
do
love
the
that
same
idea.
things. Cool.
I'll have to look up their campaign. That's
I'll
really
see if
cool.
I can find it and send it to you.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you.
Is part of the messaging also that harmful algal blooms happen in many bodies of water. I
Yes.
think there's a perception that it's just this lake because it's a bad toxic lake.
We talk about how Utah Lake became the poster child for it when there are bodies of water in Utah who have it way more severely and way more often than we do. I know Manaway, sorry, I had to think about how you pronounce that. Manaway, the lake in Manaway gets them way more frequently than we do. And they happen all over the world, basically. And so, yeah, again, changing from, oh my gosh, this is an emergency right here to, all right, this is okay. Like you just have to empower yourself to know better. So another part of it is empowering people to how can we help? And so we are talking about, and Shelby will get into fundraising ideas of like, if you donate this amount of money, then it can clear away like 1 foot of harmful algal blooms on the barge. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you.
All right. We'd like to now invite our development funding advocate here, Shelby Kozak.
Just going to start with some highlights from this past year. I'm going to highlight the DOR grant specifically because Sam was not able to present. But this was a year that we were able to get some larger grants from DOR. It started off by getting a $20,000 grant in the spring of last year, and we ended with getting two grants that were over $300,000, which is really, really exciting. Oh, sorry, one of 300,000 and around 200,000, which is really, really exciting. And it starts to show our relationship with DOR and expansion into bigger partnerships, bigger programs. Additionally, this was while I was on mat leave, but we started, and I believe I checked this with Sam, we haven't done event sponsorships with like corporate sponsors really formally before. So that was started with a symposium last year. The goal is to expand from like the one event that we did last year to 3 events this year. So we'll have sponsorship opportunities for the carp hunt, the symposium, and the festival this year. And then finally, a big exciting thing is that the Utah Lake Foundation, which is a fundraising sister organization to Utah Lake Authority, was created and approved. We got our IRS acceptance letter last week, which is really, really exciting. That opens up a lot more fundraising opportunities for us. And then also a lot more opportunities for private grants and for sponsorships. A lot of people that might be interested in donating to a 501c3 might not be interested or have not been able to find interest in donating to us as a government agency. So the idea is that this is just another way for us to be able to fund the programs and the partnerships that we're doing. Next slide. With the fundraising initiatives, specifically, we are opening up the Utah Lake Sponsorship Initiative this week. So you all are receiving a sponsorship package from us. And we are going to ask for you all to be able to share that with any contacts or organizations or companies or entities that you think that might be of interest. They're going to range from $500 opportunity for sponsorship up to much larger amounts for like title sponsorships. Additionally, talking about what Kelly was discussing with our Habs Happen campaign, we are going to partner with a new initiative. Cameron, you probably know a little bit more about this if you're still online. This is with USERV and then Utah Association of Nonprofits. They are starting, if any of you all are familiar with Giving Tuesday, Utah's doing their own version of that this year, kind of like a first annual year of how can we have more citizens in Utah be giving to more diverse nonprofits and initiatives. So that is something that we are excited about. It's again the first year, so we're going to be, it is up in the air about what the ROI is going to be, but we are going to partner with the public having the opportunity to be able to fund the CARP event. So every citizen that gives in the value proposition is every citizen who gives $1.50, that's removing one carp. And then that will help go towards funding that for the carp up to the bounty. So that's separate from the fishermen that are going in to be a part of the competition. It is the public being able to fund removing the carp and being able to take an opportunity to educate them that as you remove the carp, it makes the algal blooms better. As you fundraise or participate in giving to ULF, we're going to be able to remove more algal blooms as well. We have additional literature as well about our business plan for 2026 for Utah Lake Foundation. For those that are interested, I have that available to send to you. Okay, I will pause for questions. Okay, lovely. I pass to Abby.
Thank you, Shelby. Wonderful ideas. Looking forward to seeing these come forward.
All right. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you again. I just want to start by saying this will be my second to last meeting with you guys. Unfortunately, May, I think, is our last one, or April. April, probably. Okay, so potentially May will be my last one. But I want to start today by introducing our newest employee. His name is Alex Sosich. He's going to be serving as our Joint Restoration Coordinator with the Division of Forestry and Fire and State Lands. And today is his third day. So he is getting a lot of info. So please be kind, but I'll let him introduce himself a little bit.
Hi, Alex Dozich. I'm originally from California. I have 7 years experience in plant restoration and conservation work, specifically working with nonprofits and the federal government. I just got my master's in ecology from USU in Logan, and I'm really excited to be part of this team. I'm working under Keith Gambrecht. And yeah, thank you.
Woohoo. Well, we're really excited for Alex to get going, and we have a couple months to train him, and he's going to do a great job. We have lots of faith. So, all right. So I guess I'll follow trend in doing a 2025 year in review. Just to kick off, one of our biggest highlights is that we had about 60,000 plants installed throughout this year between the months of May and October. We did this through a variety of events with volunteers, Utah Conservation Corps crews, and other install services. So every event went really well, and I'm very excited to see how these plants did. Most of them survived really well from what I saw this year, but you never know with next year. So we're really excited to check those out. We also had a really successful internship program. You guys remember meeting Marley throughout the summer. She did an awesome job and was really helpful in getting a lot of our objectives done throughout our busy season. And we will be hosting another internship this summer. They'll be working with Alex and then hopefully our new education person that we will be working to fill in the education communication type part of my job instead. So we're really excited to be able to get another internship this summer and help us accomplish more of our goals more efficiently. We've had a lot of progress on our ARPA project. And again, a reminder, that's an American Rescue Plan Act allocation to the Division of Water Quality, and we receive funds under the Utah Lake Preservation Fund. And so we have 5 objectives with this project: land conservation, invasive weed treatment, revegetation, comprehensive management plan creation, and then what's the last one? I can't remember the last one. There's 5 for sure. Either way, we've made really great progress on all these, and we have contracts going to make sure that they're getting done. And we should have a large amount of our money spent throughout the middle of the year. And Alex will be taking over that project. But we've seen some great progress, and the ball is still rolling, so it's great. And then we also, as a highlight for kind of our more education side, we hosted a region-wide tour showcasing our projects through the Watershed Restoration Initiative this year. So we had all the WRI managers and project managers throughout the central region. So that's a pretty large area. Coming down to Utah Lake this June to like check out our projects, see planting in progress, and really be able to showcase like what that funding has been going towards for the last 15 years. So everyone was very happy with the event, and I was happy with it. It was a lot of fun to get people down to the lake. And with that, we had a lot of outreach effort at our events, classes, and outings this year. We spoke a lot this fall at different symposiums. We went to Myrtle Beach and spoke at the North American Lake Management Society. I had a presentation at the Great Salt Lake County Watershed Symposium. Did a lot of speaking and a lot of education, which was really fun to be able to share our efforts with our greater communities in Utah, but also across the US, and showcase like what a great job that Utah is doing in conservation, water use, and restoration. So it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that season is over for right now because we're doing a lot more planning at the moment. So
The planning parties are so much fun.
yeah, we're really excited
Keep
to
it up.
kind
Keep
of
it up.
scale those up this year and try out some. Every year we do them a little bit different, try some new things. So looking forward, we were able to get our 2027 WRI application submitted this year, and I'm about to start that process of ranking and going over everybody else's applications. It's a lot of fun, and that's starting pretty much right now. And then our ARPA project finishes at the end of calendar year, so we're making sure we're hustling to get all those objectives cleaned up and making sure we get all our dollars spent. Then Alex is ready to get started. He's going to be taking over a lot of the conservation, restoration, and like vegetation initiatives that I am working on, and he'll be working really closely under Keith Hambrecht as well in order to make sure that these continue and Utah Lake is restored and continue to be managed in a good way. And then hopefully we'll be getting a science education position to fill more of the comms side, education and outreach for the other half of my job currently. We'll see. We have some details to figure out on that. We're hopefully going to be able to get them started before field trips so that we can really have someone develop our education programs, continue that legacy, and be able to get a lot of great social content as well. And then our big highlight is we have over 100,000 plants ordered for install this year already. So we've been using our different funding sources to really get a lot of these plants ordered. They'll be coming across June and then probably September and October to get installed. And we're very excited. We've made a lot of progress, and I think our grand total will be at about 200,000 after this year. So it's a lot of plants, it's a lot of work, and a lot of people and effort that have made it happen. So we're excited to keep it going and see how our progress continues to grow. So I'm happy to take any questions with that.
Thank you. And welcome aboard, Alex. We're excited to have you. Just on behalf of the board, we just want to express so much appreciation. These year-end reports are amazing. The work that is happening, the efforts for restoration, the connection with the community and engagement. So many good things happen. Thank you for your creativity and efforts and good work on all these things. We really appreciate it. All right, we do not have a closed session item, so we will move past item number 7 on the agenda. We do have some action items here for item number 8. First one is the approval of our director, Luke Peterson's merit increase. There was a review provided in the packet of that. And so with that said, any questions or comments regarding this action item? I don't know if all of you had a chance to look at those reviews. I wanted to, Luke, would you be comfortable if I just spoke to those? Okay, just a moment. Let me pull them up. So one of the things that in the goals that Luke had set was first of all to secure federal funding for the Nature Center Recreation. I think you saw today that that is well in hand. Hopefully, we'll cross our fingers. And the also there have been additional significant funds that have been obtained for invasive species mitigation, recreation. He also set forth at the beginning of 2025 a goal to create positive public awareness by executing the Utah Lake is My Lake communications campaign, of which that campaign was extremely successful. The metrics showed that there was an 8% click-through rate, 600% increase of visitors at booths, 12% increase to lake visitation, with a net economic positive impact to Utah County of 7.8 million. And the third goal was to work with our federal delegation to defend the Utah Reclamation, Mitigation, and Conservation Commission and ensure continued funding. And so far, as you can see, the collaborations with our federal direct delegation, we have them on board. There's a lot of support there. So we are working towards continued funding in those efforts. So Mayor Kaufusi and myself sat down with Luke. We each wrote a bit of a summary on this. Mayor Kaufusi wrote, she felt that this had been an outstanding period and in regards to the funding that was achieved, as well as navigating the complex partnerships, getting significant results. And then for myself, I also, I worked with Luke lobbying on the Hill on some issues last year to secure different regional interests here for the county, as well as our body as well. And so we were able to really forge and I think build trust in various areas with some of the collaborators and those that oversee this body at the state level. So there's been just a lot of positive efforts and results. And in my opinion, I felt that he has really gone the extra mile as a new director. He tackled a lot of difficult and issues that needed a nuanced stewardship. And so both Mayor Kaufusi and myself are recommending a 3.5% merit increase. So.
I think that's a reasonable request. 3.5% in today's economy is covering, pace of inflation and a COL merit. My question is are there any performance metrics by which Luke is compensated, revenue generated, sponsorships attained, a variety of metrics, perhaps from a business perspective you might look at, but are there any that apply to Luke in this scenario?
Are you talking like a bonus structure of some kind or?
Or the question is any part of the salary performance based? I don't think it is it?
No.
I mean, just this merit raise,
Just
that's
this
the
merit.
portion.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to
Right.
start paying me based on money I bring in, I'm happy with that, but I don't know how that works exactly.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, I can tell you, right? Because salary goes down, your performance rates may go up. It was a point of clarification just to see if there was other ways in which Luke is compensated, because I actually feel that a 3.5% merit raise is more than justifiable. Luke has done an amazing job. I just read through your letters from you and Mayor Kaufusi, and I agree wholeheartedly the points that you bring out. So if it's, if the next steps are a motion, let me know because I
It would be.
approve the proposal here, your recommendation for 3.5 merit raise.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Yeah.
All right, we have a motion by Board Member Blair, seconded by Board Member Stireman. All right, with that motion, any further comments or questions on the motion?
I did just want to make a comment that we've never had a stronger relationship with the Utah Lake Authority than we have right now. So I attribute a lot of that to Luke and the staff that he's built and just really being able to solve these problems together. So yeah, appreciate
Very
it,
good,
Luke.
thank you. All right. We will now call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One more online. Do we catch that?
Cameron
Okay.
was an aye. Online.
Thank you. All right, any opposed? All right, it carries. All right, thank you so much. I think that's a great approbation to the good work that's happening here. So we also have now for the second item, item 8.2, it has been requested by staff that we continue this item due to the fact that Sam Brager is the primary individual to answer questions on this. Also, there was a question in my mind with some of the new board members who are coming on, if they've had an opportunity to review the Recreation Access Plan, have adequate time to kind of digest that. It's a pretty large document. In addition, there was a question if maybe all of the state entities have received this with adequate timing. So I would entertain a motion to continue this.
So moved.
All right, we have,
I'll second that.
okay, Commissioner Beltran, seconded by Board Member Millet, all in favor.
Aye.
Thank you very, okay, my apologies. Online, we have the two ayes. Very good,
Aye
thank
for
you.
Cameron.
Thank you. All right, this leaves us to our last item on today's agenda with the new year. We have a two-year cycle or with our chair and vice chair positions. And so we will now conduct an election here to, and from what I understand, the way that this will proceed, it requires a nomination. We'll do them separately. So we'll first have nominations for chair and election for chair. And once those nominations have been received, staff will they'll have little paper ballots for us. Or do
Yeah.
you want to go ahead and
Yeah,
instruct
so
Kelly?
in the bylaws,
Oh,
it
the
says
secret
that
ballot.
the election can take place either like out loud as a roll call, digitally where you guys go on a Google form and vote, or using paper ballots. It's dealer's choice. The only thing that we have to have is we have to have a record of who voted for whom. And so it's really a matter of like how you guys want to do it. The easiest and fastest way is just a roll call. But it really is how you guys want to do it. I do know we received a nomination. I received a nomination from Hillary nominating Carolyn for chair. So that's the only nomination that I received prior to this meeting.
Does that need a
Does that need a
second?
second? I'll second that nomination.
Yeah,
We'll just do it.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And certainly anyone else who wishes to put forward can do so here verbally as well. It did not have to be in advance. All right, any further nominations for chair?
I third that same nomination.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. That means a lot. You know, I'm going into the 5th year here serving on this board. I can certainly say as a new mayor initially, it felt like, you know, all the acronyms feel like a second language. I think I'm finally, you know, up to speed in the moment when someone's spouting those off. So anyway, but it certainly has been an incredible experience. You know, I think we're making generational decisions here with this lake, and it just requires a lot of collaboration and building relationships of trust with all the multiple jurisdictions and the government entities, the environmental interests, the scientific community. And I'm just so excited to see where this is going and how strong those relationships are and where we're going with how we're going to really make this the gem that it deserves to be for our region and for our residents. And so I have the time. I feel like I have a good basic understanding of the ecological things. I've participated in many of them. I don't know as much as a biologist. That's what Addie and Alex are for, right? But we rely on really fantastic staff. I think that the teamwork has been exceptional. Kudos to you all who are doing the day in and day out. So in any event, Kelly, shall we just consider this? We could just do an election by acclamation. Or just have the eyes.
Doesn't, but I think it'd be easy to be like, anyone does not want to vote for Carolyn, and so to speak, especially online.
So, yeah. I think you could just by acclamation.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, since there's no secondary nominations.
All right. Thank you so very much. I'm honored. Thank you. All right, that moves us now to the election of our vice chair. So
I'll make a motion for Commissioner Beltran.
And I will second that.
Accept that nomination.
Yes.
Okay, any other nominations for vice chair? This may be the easiest board elections we've ever had. My goodness. All right. Anyone online? Okay, hearing none.
I like the thirding of all these things. I third
Okay.
support.
All right. Anyone opposed? All right, by acclamation. Okay, very good. We'd like to welcome Commissioner Beltran as vice chair of the Utah Lake Authority. Well, staff, you all told me you had to be out of here by 10:45 for an important meeting. I think we've done pretty good on the time here. And with that said, welcome everybody who is new here. We look forward to getting to working together and being friends and making some awesome things happen. So with that said, I would entertain an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a second. Okay.
And
All
in
favor?
Curtis's mode, I will third that.
Yeah, very good.
Fantastic. Everyone
You
have
beat
a
me to
wonderful
it.
week.
Aye.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Have a great day, everybody.